Welcome to.
You're listening to the Wrestling Takeover.
What is your name?
With your host, Jordan Turner, who's always gonna keep it real.
Come on, King.
Inside and outside the ring.
Let me make myself clear.
He's got the fans behind him, King.
It's time to take over, King.
Are you ready?
He's all fired up now, King. The takeover.
Let's go.
Dude, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Takeover podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Turner, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the state of the WWE. We're going to be breaking down two specific topics. I've been buying time to talk about it. I wanted to gather as much information as I can before I came here and did a full-length podcast. Now, the two topics that we're going to talk about, I'm just going to get right into it. The two topics, that I'm going to be talking about is Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. That's going to be the first topic of conversation we're going to get into. And then the second conversation is going to be about Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes. As we all know, Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre will be going one-on-one this Friday on SmackDown for the coveted WWE Championship. And we got news on that. And before we get right into the thick of things, man, my opinions are my opinions, okay? If you guys don't agree with my opinions, that's totally fine. You can go listen to somebody else. I'm always going to be myself. I'm always going to be direct, blunt, and brutally honest, okay? This is why I built my brand around is honesty and creativity. All right. We know these are pro wrestlers. All right. And I never take a personal jabs or personal animosity between any of these pro wrestlers. All right. I'm just a wrestling fan. I'm a WWE fan. I give my opinion on what I see, read, and hear, and I bring it to you guys. Full honesty and full transparency. All right, we try to keep it P. You feel me? We try to keep the peace on here. It ain't that serious. It's just pro wrestling. Now we got into it. Let's get it. So, Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. Is it a work? Is it not a work? I got all of it, and we're going to document it right here and right now on the Wrestling Takeover podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me. A lot of wrestling fans, a lot of WWE fans were up in arms with all of the reports that we were getting constantly regarding the situation between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. A lot of sides were thrown together. People were supporting Jade Cargill. People were supporting Rhea Ripley. I love both women. Okay? I did read some of the things that were said, but I never really gave my full unadulterated opinion, in-depth opinion that I'm about to do here for you guys. So I got all of the details. We're going to go by each report, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion when it's all said and done. Okay? So we first seen a report on social media by Russell Pierce. They put out this. The Twitter back and forth that started on Monday that broke and everybody was going crazy. The Twitter back and forth between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley and others was reportedly a work, but echoed a prevalent viewpoint shared by people in talent. So pretty much it's a work, but at the same time, the things that were said, people are either siding with Rhea Ripley or they're siding with Jade Cargill. Quote, the deal that's interesting about this angle is they've involved other people to make you think it's real. Close quote. So we've seen Shayna Baszler. We've seen Chelsea Green. We've seen Piper Niven. We've seen all these women get involved. And I want to make this prevalent. I want to make this a point. WWE knows that this feud has no heat, has no investment really from the audience. Okay? There's not a lot of investment. What are they fighting for? Obviously, the World Championship. But what's their beef? What's the history between the two ladies? The real answer is there is none. So when Rhea Ripley won, which we all knew she was going to win after she lost the women's tag team titles. Speaking of that, I'm very nervous what WWE is going to do with Io. And they're already putting her in a women's IC championship number one contenders match. You can put her in a better match than that. Me personally, I would have her go one-on-one with Julia for the Women's United States Championship. Off the simple fact is, Io Sky has been in segments with Julia. Not a lot, but real prevalent. And she has stared at the Women's United States Championship around 2 separate occasions. So I don't know why you would not do that match. You didn't even do it on Monday Night Raw when it was supposed to be. You didn't do it. Okay, so you're going to save it for WrestleMania. Apparently not. We don't know. We'll see. But we don't know what Io's going to do. So as soon as Rhea Ripley and Io lost the tag team titles, I immediately knew, we all knew, that Rhea Ripley was going to win the Women's Elimination Chamber. And that's exactly what happened. So they say, quote, the funny part is, ever since the thing with Shayna Baszler and Jade Cargill from months ago, when in reading this, I'm thinking that, quote, is exactly what these people would say. I'm not saying that these people who tweeted have said this to me. I'll only say that those words have been said to me. So people have been kind of talking down, I assume, from reading this so far, to Jade Cargill. There is a prevalent viewpoint there among people and talent that is identical to some of the things that were tweeted. Real interesting. It's a real interesting thing because it is a work. So they're going with this, it's a work thing. If it was real, they're not doing this. That's exactly what I was thinking. Chelsea Green, a Piper Niven, like I said, they're not going to bury someone on their own team in public because, you know, you can't do this. It's not allowed. But they are using the thoughts of many people when doing this angle. That's interesting. So Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are in the story because Jade Cargill did mention both of those ladies. She did put out a tweet mentioning both Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Keep that in mind. Let's move on to the next report from Dave Meltzer. Take everything with Dave Meltzer with a grain of salt, respectfully. He puts this out. They're trying to make it out to look like it's a shoot. They're going to really fight at the show. It's weird because when you do this on Twitter, I don't know. It's just an attempt. It's an attempt to get some heat for the match, like I thought was going on. Because like I previously just stated, there was no heat for this match. There was no heat from this match whatsoever. No history, none of it. Let's continue with another report. From Wrestling Observer Radio, the back and forth on Twitter between Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill was reportedly a work. Again, so it is assumed in our minds that this is a work. The involvement of multiple talents were intentional, meant to make it feel like a real shoot and generate more heat for the WrestleMania match, which that is exactly what has been going on. And me personally, I do think this is a work. This is a work. This was whole part of the plan. WWE knows, Rhea Ripley knows, Jade Cargill knows, and fans that are intelligent know that this is a work. But the other portion of the fan base, they were going at Rhea Ripley. They were going at Jade Cargill. Cutthroat to the max. Everyone for the most part. I don't want to say everybody, but there were a core portion of the WWE fan base who are thinking that this is still like some bad blood, that this is not a work, this is a shoot. We got another report from PW Insider on the Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley situation that broke social media. Jade Cargill has been criticized by a number of talent for how she rubs others the wrong way, and that when the back and forth with Rhea Ripley began, it wasn't hard for others to want to jump in and voice their opinions. They cited that this wasn't the first time Jade Cargill has upset others with how she conducted herself, and imitated that when there were reports about Cargill being hurt last year, the real reason she disappeared and spent time in the PC was to let personal issues going on at the time subside. Interesting. Another report, another source, tried to downplay the situation, but later admitted that they expect management would step in and speak to Cargill about their relationship with the locker room. So apparently Jade Cargill has many beefs with the women's locker room in the WWE. The source noted that whatever they need to do to get Jade Cargill over, but that at the request, they show that they do not often feel required. They described it as Cargill coming off insecure when she shouldn't have any reason to feel that way. So you're insecure and you're taking it out on the other women's superstars? That ain't cool. But again, we don't know. Is this a work? Is this a shoot? It might be both. I'm of the camp that I think this is a work, but it can also be described as a shoot. Okay? Let's look into this last report regarding Cargill and Rhea Ripley. The situation with the SmackDown locker room said to be a shoot, not a work. So now they're saying it's a shoot. And everything that's been going on social media was the real deal. Okay, let's get into it. Sources indicated to bodyslam.net that Rhea Ripley was legitimately upset with Cargill, saying that she spends hours talking to creative, which is why she posted on her Instagram story last night ahead of Monday Night Raw before deleting it. Another source indicated that despite there being some sort of legitimate bad blood between the two, there will be no issue with them working together as we head to WrestleMania. There is said to be no heat for the exchange, but there was a sense of disappointment as this wasn't part of the story that was going on to play out on television. Okay, that's okay if everything that is legitimately going on here is a shoot. You play this on television. WWE, you need something. There's nothing for the fans to get emotionally invested in a Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley besides their physical stature. That's it. There's no real story. Now you have a story. So turn it into a work. You did it with The Rock. You've done it before. Turn the shoot into a work. You did it with Bryan Danielson and The Miz. That was tremendous. You did it with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Tremendous work of business. You've done it before. So do it here. Here's my thing on this whole Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley situation, because there are people in the community, there's people in the space attacking Rhea Ripley. I'll start off with Rhea Ripley. People are attacking Rhea Ripley thinking that she has favoritism and all of that type of stuff, right? I'm going to be real with y'all. Okay? I'm going to be real. All right? I'm going to be honest. She most definitely has favoritism. Okay? She most definitely is somebody who gets a lot of attention because she's extremely popular. She's the most popular out of the group, right? She's the most popular. And she is the biggest name, if not the biggest name, in WWE. And people got to accept that. All right, people got to accept that. And is this a case of favoritism where you're complaining to creative about your booking? We've heard so many stories about that. So Rhea Ripley isn't the only person. We've heard plenty of stories from men and women complaining about the creative. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know. I'm not Rhea Ripley. I'm not WWE. There's a lot of people who are Rhea Ripley fatigued. I want to repeat that. There is a lot of people who are Rhea Ripley fatigued. Let me tell y'all something. I told y'all this before too. And if you're new, you'll be the first to hear it. But if you're an OG of the podcast, I have told you guys this multiple times for many years now. Rhea Ripley is the female version of Roman Reigns, who is always going to be there, who was always going to get opportunity. WWE trusts Rhea Ripley. WWE trusts Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and stuff like that. But speaking for the women's perspective, Rhea Ripley is always going to be in the forefront, whether y'all like it or not. Rhea Ripley is one of the most popular female wrestlers, but popular WWE wrestlers in the world today, not just in WWE, popular in all of professional wrestling. She's not going nowhere. And y'all who are upset about that, y'all got to deal with that. Y'all got to deal with it, and y'all got to accept it. It is what it is. I'm a Rhea Ripley fan, but I can understand, and I can come to the realization that, yeah, Rhea Ripley has a lot of pull, quote unquote, has a lot of people who are in management behind her because they see her as one of the biggest stars, male or female, in the company. Bar none. She continues to get these type of a positive, just groundbreaking reactions when she comes out. Yes, you, the IWC, you as a WWE fan, you can be fatigued. The audience and the crowd are not fatigued with Rhea Ripley. And I've honestly been seeing a lot of people, and I'm gonna bring this up. Like I said, guys, I'm always real with my opinions. I always keep it 100, no matter what topic, no matter what viewpoint, no matter. I'm always gonna keep it 100 over here. Okay. I've seen a lot of people create narratives about Rhea Ripley and trying to bring Rhea Ripley down because you're upset that Rhea Ripley is constantly getting opportunities. I understand that. And that's WWE's fault. That ain't Rhea Ripley's fault. Why the fuck, if you're Rhea Ripley, why the fuck would you be mad about that? Why would you be upset about that? I know I wouldn't. Now, you need to give others an opportunity. That's when you, as a leader, got to step up and be like, you know what? Give this person an opportunity. Give this person an opportunity. And WWE has I wouldn't say massive, but they have a nice opportunity to create new stars for the women. But WWE just goes right back to their try and true with Rhea Ripley, and other women, Bianca, you feel me? This Jade Cargill thing did expose WWE. Let's not get it confused. Let's not get the game twisted. It definitely exposed WWE. I like to look at all angles. I like to talk about every angle aspect of this whole situation. Yeah, WWE, y'all tripping. Y'all could not come up with another opponent for Jade Cargill. Y'all really put all y'all chips in the deck for Bianca Belair. I get it. I understand it. I miss B too. I miss her too. Okay? We thought she was going to be back before WrestleMania. Y'all panicked, and y'all went right to Raw, and you looked at Rhea Ripley, and they said, you know what? We're going to put you in this match. There are people pushing for Jade Cargill to defeat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. ladies and gentlemen, the likelihood of that happening is not looking good. I'm gonna be real. You're not This is what I'm thinking. Two ways. The Rhea Ripley aspect and then the Jade Cargill. Let's finish off with the Rhea Ripley aspect. You are not gonna put Rhea Ripley, who's a Raw superstar, to win the chamber, to qualify to go to SmackDown and face the women's champion, if you're not gonna put the title on her. And period. Point blank. You are not gonna do all of that just to have her lose. Why did you do that in the first place if you were not going to have Rhea Ripley win the championship? So that's from the Rhea Ripley perspective. Let's get into the Jade Cargill situation. I'm not afraid to have uncomfortable conversations on my show. I'm not afraid to really take a deep dive and really just say what's on my mind. Rather it's positive or negative. Y'all gonna listen to me regardless. Y'all might not agree with my opinions. As long as you take away from saying, I hear what Jordan's saying. I might not agree with him, but Jordan's making some sense. Listen, this Jade Cargill situation. I'm a big Jade Cargill fan. I love the girl and I want her to thrive. I want her to succeed. If those reports are true about Jade Cargill, because again, we don't know. Now, there's history that can prove that I could see Jade Cargill acting like that. I could see her doing that type of thing, but we don't know. So I'm not even going over there with that can of worms. I ain't going over there. That ain't my place. That's not my business. Like I said, I'm not taking personal jabs at pro wrestlers. We ain't doing that. But this is what I will say, though. Jade Cargill's title reign, Jade Cargill. Sweetheart, your reign's been fucking terrible. That's not your fault. That's WWE's fault. WWE has not positioned you to a point to where you feel like a world champion. You have not felt like a world champion. You have not been positioned from the standpoint of momentum as a women's world champion. That's WWE's fault. They didn't have an opponent ready to face you. They had to go to Monday Night Raw to make that happen. Y'all understand? So, from that perspective, I'm going to give Jade Cargill some slack. I'm going to give her some slack. But WWE, what are you trying to position Jade Cargill as? And I've heard this other thing that I'm going to mention. I got to mention it, but I'm going to finish my point first. What are you trying to position Jade Cargill as? She doesn't wrestle a lot. Is that because you're hiding her flaws? Probably. Do you know that she can't wrestle as good as the other women? Oh, most definitely. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. That's most definitely one of the reasons, for sure. If Jade Cargill cannot bring a good match out of Rhea Ripley, then Jade Cargill ain't meant for this thing. Rhea Ripley is one of the most decorated female wrestlers in the world all time. And you can't have a good match with Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania? Come on, man. What are you doing? There's pressure on Rhea Ripley only from this perspective to bring Jade Cargill to a good match. When I tell you there's pressure, baby, let me tell you something. When there's pressure and you feel it and you sense that shit. You sense it. There is pressure. I don't know who else is going to bring this up in the community. Is what it is. There's pressure on Jade Cargill to deliver inside that ring against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley rarely has bad matches at WrestleMania. I'm going to tell you that right now off the rip. Off the rip. This woman barely has any bad matches. Period. But most definitely when it comes to WrestleMania, she hardly ever has any bad matches. I think I could only name one match from WrestleMania that I thought was a little, it was alright, but it wasn't like the greatest. And that's the match with Asuka. It was alright. It was alright. But it wasn't like OMG. Like her matches with Becky Lynch, the 2 times with Charlotte Flair. You feel me? And then one of the greatest women's matches. Fuck being just, one of the greatest WrestleMania matches or one of the greatest WrestleMania matches for the women. Nah, fuck all that. One of the greatest women's matches of all time is her match with Bianca Belair and Io Sky. And don't get me started with her match at Evolution with Io Sky. That's one of the greatest women's matches for me personally of all time. So there's pressure on Jade Cargill to really, really deliver. But there is pressure on Rhea Ripley to give us at least a decent to good match with Jade Cargill. I don't know what's real, what's not. I'm going to be honest. I don't even care. I don't care if it's a shoot or a work. It got engagement. It got everybody talking. So to a point, it's a work. Some little things that were said about Jade Cargill and what the ladies might be a shoot. But I think it's ultimately a work with a little shoot in there. I think it's both. But from the overall picture, it's a work. You got to get something for people to talk about. And oh boy, they did that. And again, it shows that when you use social media as a tool to take real life situations and put it into a storyline, it works every time, bro. It works every time. Let's move on to Cody Rhodes. Let's move on to Randy Orton. What the fuck is going on with this thing, man? What's going on, bro? Because there is a lot of conflicting things happening with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. And I ultimately feel bad for Drew McIntyre. I really, really do. I feel bad for Drew. The WWE, I feel like, doesn't really... How do I say this? They gave Drew McIntyre, right? They gave Drew McIntyre the WWE Championship. And that's great. But was Drew McIntyre ever going to be the person to take that title into WrestleMania? And in the beginning, I said no. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. Let me read these reports because this is, this is interesting. So per PW Insider, the internal belief is that Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is the planned direction for the WWE Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Social media went crazy. The other report, a little bit more in depth here. Cody Rhodes is scheduled to challenge Drew McIntyre for the title this Friday on SmackDown. And the expectation is that there will likely be a title change on SmackDown. One WWE source citing that there could always be changes in the direction stated that it was not a shot at Drew McIntyre's work, but that I like how WWE wanted to really point that out. Like, yo, Drew, you great, but we got this big dream match right here that we need to do. And this is another reason why I'm going to attack WWE here, because creatively, they don't think creatively. And this is a shot at creative right here. This whole little report, it's a shot at creative. And it's extremely frustrating for someone who's very creative and someone that pitches a lot of WWE ideas, not only on my show, but on social media as well, which you guys can do so. Go follow me on social media. I'd really appreciate it. On Twitter, at JT Takeover. On Instagram, at The Wrestling Takeover. And show your boy some love on TikTok, man. I'm on TikTok. at JT TakeOver, man. So, like I said, one WWE source that there could always be changes in the direction stated that it was not a shot at Drew McIntyre's work, but that the company wants to deliver Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton this year. Orton winning the Elimination Chamber was the start to the move in that direction, as the feeling, was provided a nice surprise in the ramp up to WrestleMania and would give fans something beyond what they were already expecting. Okay, a little something different. Fans online, Raw, thinking it's going to go one way, it's going to go the other way. WWE loves doing that. There is no word yet where this can leave Drew McIntyre as of this writing. They could always pivot to a three-way bout, or Drew McIntyre can face Jacob Fatu. This seems like a long shot, but they could always shoot an angle to set up McIntyre versus general manager Nick Aldis, who still has yet to make his WWE official in-ring debut. Continue on with the last report that I'd recently seen today. Sources indicated to Bodyslam.net that discussions began regarding Orton versus Rhodes around the beginning of February to shake things up for WrestleMania season and give a payoff to the teases over the last few years. Rhodes and McIntyre didn't officially find out about the change until last week. Okay? So the current plan looks to be Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre is set to begin filming for Highlander immediately after WrestleMania. So, okay. Maybe that's the reason, or one of the reasons, why WWE is actually going to be pivoting to Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Okay. Let me give you guys my 2 cents. My honest opinions about this whole situation. WWE. Okay. WWE, you guys make everything so complicated. Really. So, why didn't you just keep the title on Cody Rhodes to begin with? I understand a little Cody Rhodes fatigue here and there. Again, I was fatigued with Cody Rhodes. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care if it's a one-on-one match. I don't care if it's a triple threat match. I don't care if it's a fatal four-way match. The night one of WrestleMania, which this will be the main event, no matter what type of match it's going to be for the WWE Undisputed title. I'm telling everybody right now who is listening, to everyone listening to me, I know there's people in WWE who listen to me too. So the creative team, listen. I don't give a fuck what match it is. Okay? Randy Orton better walk out of WrestleMania as the WWE champion. That's all I'm going to say. Simple, point blank, period. All right? But WWE, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? You could have just kept the title on Cody Rhodes. Fatigue, I understand. But if this was the plan all along, and this again shows WWE's ill-equipped to be creative. Shows WWE inequipped and inability to adapt on the fly. Your boy here could adapt on the fly. I'm just saying. WWE, you don't have enough time to tell a proper Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes story. You do not have the proper time to tell a proper, in-depth, long-term story for Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. You don't. And if you say you do, or if there's others in the community who feel that WWE does, respectfully, to each their own, but respectfully, you tripping. No, they don't. They do not have enough time. They're going to cramp everything together. It is what it is if this is the actual plan. If I'm Drew McIntyre, I'm hot right now. I'm hot right now. Then again, you are leaving. According to the report, you're leaving to go do some film. You know who also should be hot right now is Jacob Fatu. He was possibly in this plan, supposedly, and a potential winner. People backstage reportedly were pitching for Jacob Fatu to win the title. Whoop-de-woo, we at where we at. You don't have enough time to do Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, but if you're going to do it, it is what it is. They're going to do it now. That's going to be the night one main event. Randy Orton needs to win the title to end night one of WrestleMania. If it's a one-on-one match, fatal four-way, triple threat, Randy Orton needs to win. Simple. This whole situation, I just don't know why you didn't want to do a fatal four-way. You could have done the fatal four-way. Randy Orton would have pinned. I would have had Randy Orton pin Cody Rhodes. You start the tease. You start the build right there. And you go and you go and you go and you go. You do not book Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton immediately out of the gate. You don't do that. If you want to involve them in the triple threats or fatal four ways, you save it. You save it. Cody Rhodes maybe wins Money in the Bank. And then night one or night two of SummerSlam in the main event. You build it. You've been building it for months. You've been teasing it for months. Ultimately, they've been building it for almost a year, coming to this. If this was just my idea of the plan, I would have saved it for SummerSlam. Night one main event or night two main event. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that. So we're here where we're at. If you're going to pull the trigger, pull that motherfucker. Pull it. It's WrestleMania. It's Las Vegas. The night one main event, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. For the WWE Championship, Randy Orton wins the match. Night two main event, Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I just feel WWE's inability to be creative is really getting to them. It really seems that they are really just coming up with scenarios that are bad, bad. And at the last minute, the last three-pointer of the game, they swish that motherfucker. And they come up with the idea that they originally should have done, but didn't. This should have always been the plan. I'm going to say that right now. This should have always been the plan for WrestleMania. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes. Now you're doing it last minute. That does not paint the creative team. That does not paint Triple H, the head of creative, in a good light. But that's it. That's all I got for y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about what I said today regarding the Jade, Cargill, Rhea, Ripley situation and the Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Randy Orton situation. Thank you guys so much for listening to your boy, Jordan Turner, host of the Wrestling Takeover podcast. Remember, opinions like assholes, but remember, we always keep it real on the Wrestling Takeover podcast. I'll see y'all next time. Pro wrestling is not that serious.